Listen to your body with Sanchez. All right, we are streaming. Hello, traders. We're going to just take a few minutes here. Hopefully, Tesla won't hit 500 while I'm on the mic. Or 0 people will be listening to me as the rabbi leads the charge on a white stallion through $500, along with Eddie riding shotgun. All right, welcome all. I want to spend 5 to 10 minutes on this curriculum here, just to give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be teaching while I'm still around. I want to leave this job with the full knowledge that I dumped everything that I think is useful to you guys and left it all on the table for you guys. So the idea here is, not yet, Judy, but the idea here is to just really feel like I helped get a lot of people get to the next level, and there's a lot of gaps to fill for traders. There's a lot of knowledge gaps, habitual gaps, mental training gaps that need to be filled before you can really start to make money in this business. And it's a lot of fronts, right? We like to sort of liken it to the little threads on a rope. And so we're going to really break this down into things that we're doing every day. The first thing we're going to focus on, hardcore guys, is trade plan creation. Okay, we're going to spend a lot of time as a group into making sure that you have a trade plan that works for you. Type 11 if you're not currently trading a trading plan. I bet you there's at least 150 people in here who are not trading a trading plan. Okay, and following me in the morning is not a trading plan, guys. I swear to God, that's not a trading plan. Okay, following JR, right, Tesla for 13 points is not a trading plan. Your trading plan is yellow. Yeah, following JR. It's not a good trading plan. Not a good trading plan at all. Okay. Not written. It's okay. You're a sicario. So we're gonna focus on the trading plan creation. The trading plan is a process, guys, okay? You have a trading plan. It's your rule set for how you attack the markets. From that, you create a morning game plan, okay? We're going to be talking a lot about game planning, how you're going to attack a specific idea, right? This morning, for example, Tesla over 490.50, at 492, potential add through 495.60, right? That was the plan. We wanted to see how that went. It went pretty well, okay? It went pretty good. All right, but you'll often notice that if you don't have a game plan for a trade you're going to tackle, what ends up happening, guys? Any of you sit there perhaps like a deer frozen in the headlights? Does that sound familiar? And then you're like, oh, help me, Obi-Wan Jr. You're my only hope. Okay, I should not be your only hope. You should have a game plan for what you're doing based on your trading plan, right? If your trading plan says you're not going to be trading Tesla because it moves too fast for you, maybe you shouldn't have a game plan for trading Tesla. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I see a lot of people who are trading stocks on their do not trade list for whatever reason, and they're game planning for things they shouldn't even be doing, right? And then we're going to teach you guys a very solid and very important trade scoring system. Okay, I inherited this system from one of my mentors, and it's going to allow you to grade your trades trade by trade so you can identify mistakes and improve your execution day in and day out. Okay, these 3 things in the trade plan creation seminar are going to be essential for you to be able to execute with clarity every day. Like, how many times does it happen to you, type 11, if this happens to you, where you're like, okay, great, I went long QBTS today. What now, JR? Does that ever happen where something looks great, you go long, and you got no freaking idea what you're going to be doing with it next. Yeah, your game plan shouldn't be like, JR, what's your stop? Where are we going? Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this relationship, JR? Okay, that's not okay. That's not a game plan. All right, you should be relying on your technical analysis skills and the information at hand. Okay, stop talking about. It's not just you, my friend. Okay. Next, the pre-market prep. The West Coast people are gonna hate my guts. Okay, but we're gonna be here every morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. And we're gonna game plan days together, day in and day out. We're gonna scan the markets together. I'm going to show you how to properly scan markets, and I don't just mean run your scanner for gappers. Okay, I mean understand what the hell is happening in the market. Okay. On that note, we're going to be doing a whole course on intermarket analysis. Okay, what's the relationship between the Hang Seng and the SMH? Did you guys know there's a very strong relationship between those two in terms of intermarket relationships? What happens when the dollar index and the 10-year yield start to diverge? Okay, like these are really important things you need to scan for every day. Okay, so we're going to be scanning the markets properly in terms of intermarket analysis, in terms of movers, in terms of sequences, in terms of sectors, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that properly. We're also going to be using the pre-market to as a sort of classroom. We take pre-market trades every day. I don't really do as much teaching as I could, but I'm going to focus on really doing a lot of teaching in terms of execution, price action, all the things that we need to be doing every day. We're also going to be focusing heavily on tape reading. There's going to be 2 hours of tape reviewing per week. Okay, every day a 25 top names in the market list will be put out with very detailed, curated levels for you. Okay. There's going to be a master level price action course that will be taught. It is the entire Al Brooks curriculum. If you understand how big the Al Brooks curriculum is, your eyes should be completely white and be rolled all the way to the back of your head. It is very big. It is incredibly boring. Okay? But you know what? You motherfuckers are going to take the Ipecac. Okay? It's not going to be necessarily fun. But by the time I'm done with you guys at the end of the year, each of you is going to be a professional level price action reader. You're going to get really, really, really good at this. Okay, I'm going to try to make the Al Brooks curriculum slightly less boring, and I can only say slightly because it's price action, people. Okay, we're going to have a daily QA after the wrap up for gold and silver members. By the way, the other thing that's really going to suck for you guys after your scoring and your reporting is every month you're each going to submit your grade for the month with a full report. Okay, I don't care if it's in TraderSync, TraderView, or in TradeZella, but I need to see your stats at the end of the month. I will sit there and go over each of you guys' trading stats for the month to understand what your progress is. Attached to that, you're going to write a 1 to 2 page summary highlighting your strengths and your weaknesses for the month and showing me in your trading calendar where you slipped up, where you did well, what you need to improve on. Okay? But wait, that's small. Okay? This is going to be a lot of work for you guys. It's going to be a lot of work for me. It's going to be intense. You're going to have to want to do this. Okay? We haven't even gotten to the lots of work part yet. So anyways, daily Q&A after the wrap up. I expect you guys to be highly involved in asking lots of questions. There's going to be a course on reading economic news. Okay? For example, how reliable is the JOLTS versus the employment report, and why is one more reliable than the other? Why does one matter more than the other? When does the jolts matter? When is a 10-year auction more important than a 10-year tips? Okay, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to go over every single indicator of economic headline. Okay, how many of you know what a PMI composite flash does, for example? I'm doing this probably only once, Kathy, and I'm going to do it so that you guys have the tools, okay? My goal here, Kathy, is to turn intermediate traders into professionals and novice traders into high-end intermediate traders. I want to do a complete brain dump of the things that I think are important, so you guys have the tools to continue your journey more or less undisturbed, if you know what I mean. This is a very, very difficult business to be in. No, nobody hand-fed me these things, and I want to make sure that you guys at least have the tools to incorporate them and improve. Understanding the bond market and bond auctions. How many of you guys, type 11, if this happens to you, you hear a bond auction, you see the market spiking up then spiking down, and you have absolutely no idea what to do, or don't understand what the what the current bid to cover ratio means relative to the priors. Okay, we're going to learn how to read bond market auctions, and more importantly, understand how the Fed works. It's very, very important. Understanding central banks and forex markets. You think the stock market is big. Okay, the stock market is a little drop in a giant ocean that is the bond market and the currency markets. We have to understand the basics of how those work so we can understand how they affect the equities market, right? Trade execution seminar with hotkey management. I'm going to turn you guys into execution fiends, okay? I don't care if you put in 3 trades a day or 4 trades a day or 300 trades a day. You need ninja level execution skills to make sure you're maximizing your gains and protecting yourself. You'll notice a lot of the higher end traders in this room don't seem to get hurt a lot, whereas the novice traders have giant gaping hole losses. A lot of that is psychology, but a lot of that is also absolutely terrible execution. Execution is something that very few people teach, and I'm going to spend the entire year drilling you guys. Okay, what does that mean? I'm going to have recorded tapes that you're going to play when you get home, and I'm expecting the people who succeed are going to listen to me and do this every night. Okay, I'm going to be like, improve the offer by 10 cents. You're going to listen to that recording. There's going to be a beep, and you're going to have 5 seconds to do it. Okay? Shave the bid by 20 cents. Widen the stop by 30. Okay? You're going to hit your hotkeys, and you're going to do it. Et cetera, et cetera. There's going to be a different tape every week. Okay? Yeah, it's going to be like those subliminals to make you fall asleep, Raphael. That's what I did for myself, and I did not realize how slow and clumsy I was at execution until I had to execute against the tape in real time. If you're not able to adjust positions in under 2.5 seconds, you have gaping holes in your execution. If you're a day trader, you're gonna get very good at this if you follow the program. Okay, there's a lot that goes on into execution. Okay. You're not just dealing with hotkeys, you're dealing with risk and money management, okay? You're dealing with somewhat complex arithmetic in your head. If I ask the average person what 17 cents times 3 is, it would take the average person 30 seconds to answer me, okay? You know what I'm saying? That's got to be much... Thank you, Nadia. Nadia, you get a gold star, okay? So you guys are going to have to practice this stuff. It's not just me doing a nice presentation. You're gonna, if you want to achieve high levels of speed and execution, I have a program for you guys to achieve it. Okay, I have a program for you guys to achieve it, and that's going to be a year-long module. Okay, there's gonna be a course, but then it's going to be a year-long module, just like the price action. Okay. We're going to go into risk and money management through an original seminar that's going to be in depth. And then once we go through that, we're going to merge the trade execution, okay, with hotkey management. And you're going to get that same stupid record. You're going to get so sick of my voice on a tape, you're going to want to smash it and make a JR Voodoo doll. Okay? So we're going to be like, okay, buy stop, Apple 141.50. Okay, 50-cent stop. Right? And then the next prompt is going to be, buy stop 150.45. Set stop to break even. Okay, you're gonna have to do that math in your head in under 10 seconds and set a break even stop. Okay, you're gonna have to practice this over and over and over again until you get good at it. It's gonna be a ton of work for you guys. That's what I'm telling you. This is going to be transformative, but you're gonna have to do the work. Intermarket analysis seminar. If you don't have a strong grasp of intermarket analysis, you're just really missing out. You're missing out in tremendous ways. And so we're going to talk about intermarket analysis a lot. Okay. Each topic will be taught as a standalone module. Okay. But then we're going to integrate that. Okay. Like one of the reasons we do really well during, for example, the FOMCs or when news comes out, right, is because we're able to integrate the fundamental news, understanding market sentiment, understanding intermarket analysis, and have the execution skills to really take advantage of those market inefficiencies when news come out, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of times there's an ISM print that's about to come out or a Michigan print, and you'll hear me say, okay, guys, I'm getting out. I don't like the exposure to this potential Michigan print because of X, Y, and Z. And that's because I'm in tune with what the market is worried about, right? It's not just understanding the economic print. It's understanding the sentiment behind what the market is concerned about that gives you a lot of risk exposure. And a lot of times you'll hear me say, okay, there's a CPI print here. We're going to come in line or lower. I'm not really worried about it, and I'll stay long that position. That takes a lot of experience, but it also takes understanding what the market is looking for and what the most likely print is, right? So the pre-market, again, we're going to do a whole bunch of group scanning. I'm going to show you guys how to use tools like TC2000, which is an incredible scanning tool, especially for sector analysis. It can really drill down. And then I'm going to bring the guys in from Trade Ideas to show you guys. I'm going to co-teach with them how to really scan intraday and how to set up your scans so they filter out the nonsense, the 3-cent stocks you don't want to be trading, and really focus on scanning the information that you want. Okay, so the pre-market, we're going to do that group scanning, the group watch list creation, and we're going to do a whole lot of pre-market trading, and I'm going to break down the trades we take into lessons step by step in real time. And then we're going to do the post-trade analysis on those every single morning, starting at 6. So this is another one of my favorite scans in TC2000. Again, I'll show you how these work in detail. This is going to be the Al Brooks curriculum. One of the things that Al Brooks does, which you've seen me do before, is proper labeling of candlesticks or bars. I'm going to explain to you the Al Brooks method of bar labeling, and then I'm going to introduce mine so you guys have your pick of how you want to label price action events. There's so much in this curriculum that most people don't know. Most people read a Steve Neeson book. Steve Neeson's great, not criticizing Steve, but there's so much beyond that most people don't bother to learn in price action that will protect you guys. Okay, this course is your Kevlar vest. In terms of making sure that you don't get overly hurt in the markets, okay? And then the one and only John Murphy, we're going to study his intermarket analysis. We're going to understand key relationships, okay? The Forex market, the bond market, the commodities and how they affect equities market. It's going to give you such an edge in understanding how all other markets move the equities markets. It's going to be, I think, foundational to your development as a trader, okay? Seasoned traders, guys. Thank you, Michael. Seasoned traders aren't just thinking about equities, okay? They're taking the whole picture of the market into account. They're thinking about, monetary policy. They're thinking about the flow of money. They're thinking about the commodities markets, okay? And most important of all, the bond market, okay? It is very difficult for the equities market to be unaffected by the bond market. We are a drop of water in an ocean of bonds, okay? So basic relationships, okay? Gold versus the CRB. This is a great example, okay? You have an inverse relationship between the CRB and Treasury bonds, okay? Using your technical analysis to understand points of convergence, here you have an inverse head and shoulders in the CRB index, right? And a traditionally bullish pennant, and understanding that, a break in the CRB index is most likely going to raise rates and bring bonds lower, right? Like a lot of these things are evident in the chart if you know what to look for. The problem is so many traders are bogged down by just understanding how a buy setup works that they miss the finer points in market behavior and market analysis, right? Professionals are taught all this stuff. And instead of teaching another course on, how to trade bull flags, which sells a lot, like this business is kind of crooked. If you put out course after course on strategies, people will gobble them up. I want to create really well-rounded traders that understand how the market works. I've said that since I got here, and I stand by that. I need you guys to understand how the market works. Once you understand how markets work, okay, you can develop 1,000 strategies, and if you back test them, many of them will work. Okay, I'm not going to say a majority of them, obviously, but many of them will work. It's difficult to make money in the markets, okay, not because of strategies necessarily, but because of everything else. Okay, execution, money management, risk management, and most important of all, timing. And if you understand how intermarket relationships work, you're giving yourself a huge edge in terms of timing. Okay. So then we're going to dive deep into Mr. Stadelmeyer and market profiling. Okay, we're going to really understand how to read a TPO chart. Every trader should know how to read a TPO chart. It is very important to understand the market profile because it is the map of the auction. Okay, you guys, you should understand what a weak high and a weak low looks like. You should understand where the concentration of orders is. You should understand how demand and supply works. And market profile is a little bit of an obscure and more lost skill now. But it's you'll notice a lot of professional traders really drill down on these charts, and they're very important to understand. So we're gonna spend some time looking at this. It's not going to be like academic, like, okay, went through a module and now it's done. It's going to be cumulative. Okay, the more we go through, the more we're going to accumulate and start using in a compound fashion throughout the year. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, Tesla's going. We'll see what happens. So the every day we're going to have 25 to 30 curated stocks in play. We're going to have multi-time frame analysis, volume profile, VWAP anchors for all of these with demand supply zone and actionable entries, exits, and ideas. Okay, so that's going to be basically like a newsletter that's included for our silver and gold members. And then every day you're going to get SPX and DX levels with, again, multi-time frames, full volume profile, VWAP, the correct VWAP anchors, demand supply zone, and actionable entries. Heavy emphasis on ES and NQ, obviously, and then I'm going to do GC1, CL, and G and silver, okay, with actionable entries and ideas. If you look at my Twitter, okay, I've been curating these charts for the Twitterverse for a couple of months, just to build a track record. If you go through my Twitter, you'll see we warned the shorts not to short around 46.06. We called the long at 49 with a target at 61, and now we're obviously about to hit 70. So I'm very good at this. This is one of the things I'm fucking really very good at. So it's gonna be a curated newsletter for you guys. In my opinion, just this aspect of the mentorship is gonna pay for itself. But I don't know. Some people like this stuff, some people don't. I think it's very useful. In terms of learning how to read economic news, we're gonna go through the trading foundations in context of sentiment. Okay, you can read all the economic news you want, but like every market has a thesis, every market has a fear, a phobia, and a hope. We're gonna learn how to distill like what is moving the market to begin with, right? And then we're gonna freaking FOMC, CPI, GDP, retail sales, employment, PMI. We're gonna go through every single economic event in the calendar. I'm gonna teach you how they work, how the data is collected, how revisions work, right? Not every single economic event is collected the same way. Like that, those are really, really important things for you guys to like know and understand. Okay. Central bank decisions, Fed, ECB, BOE, BOJ. You got to understand how the central banks work, how rates correlate internationally, okay, and how to read central bank decisions with some context to Section 1, okay? Super important. Okay, executions, hotkeys, and speed. Now, in the scalping course, we went over this like perfunctorily, you know what I mean? Like we went over the basics of like how my hotkeys work. In this course, in this mentorship, you're going to understand the basics of how hotkeys are going to work for you, and you're going to become experts at execution. If you don't use hotkeys, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you use a ladder, okay, this is still going to be extremely, extremely useful for you, because as we do this entire mentorship, we're going to start putting all the pieces, all the elements that we learned throughout the year, risk management, money management, execution. Okay, we're going to make it part of one skill. You have to translate everything going through your cognitive filter and create execution decisions very quickly on the fly to get that edge in the market. Okay, so we're going to, obviously we're going to break down the keyboard again. We're going to go over the basics of execution, and we're going to get very detailed. Where does your pinky go? Okay, when you take a 5-cent sweep order on a fresh breakout, okay, when do you add? Which finger do you have over the cancel order, and which other finger do you have over a closeout? Say for example, you take a 5-cent offset sweep order on Tesla through 498.83, which is the prior high. How quickly are you able to cancel and mark it out of that order if you're wrong? How quickly are you able to add to that trade on a 10-cent offset sweep order? How quickly are you going to able to be? How quickly can you actually set offers up $1.50 and $3 with a stop? That should be done in under 3 seconds, right? I'm going to teach you like the secrets. No, I'm not going to teach you any secrets, but I'm going to teach you how to do that properly. There's a lot of finger placement. There's a lot of digit skill. Okay, whatever you don't do with your fingers and you're going to do with the mouse, they're the same concepts. Okay, they're very important concepts. There's specific rules to this stuff in terms of finger dexterity, in terms of where you put your hands, in terms of where you put your eyeballs. A lot of you guys are watching your P&L instead of watching tape. How many of you guys, once you enter a trade, just look at the P&L window? Sound familiar? Okay. Like that's not what you should be watching. I'm going to teach you how to focus in terms of your finger dexterity or where to put your fingers. In terms of your eyeballs, what you should be watching. Okay. So we're going to be focusing heavily on this. And as you guys get better and better and you get through the module homework assignments, okay, this is like playing an instrument, guys. It takes a while to get your fingers to go in the right places, to get that dexterity from what you're thinking in your mind to how your orders are being applied. It takes a lot of practice, okay? So once we get through this, then we're going to start uniting the other pieces, okay? Your risk management, your money management, okay? So you're long 1,000 shares of Tesla through 490, okay, and you have a pivot at 48.50. How many shares can you add at 492 so that your cost basis doesn't become technically unsustainable? Okay, these are going to be some skills that take a while to build. Ultimately, the entire goal of this program is to create one very strong, unified trader who understands price action, tape reading, order flow, who understands execution really well, but also is seasoned to the ways of the market. Okay, it's not enough to read a chart, guys, and take setups all day long. You have to understand the movement of the market, how it's behaving, why it's strong today. Why was QBTS strong today? There were a variety of reasons, and they were proved immediately in the morning order flow, right? So once you put those pieces together in terms of a game plan, okay, module 1, okay, how do you execute that correctly so that you're adding to names that are working and that you're not, blindly adding to a name that may be topping out, right? And then how do you execute that properly? So that is going to be the entire theme of this effort, and I think it's going to be wildly successful if you're willing to put in the work. All right. Any questions? Let's see. How many students it'll include? How long it'll run? It's a 52-week program, Trader, for silver. Gold traders are going to get a lot more attention. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more one-on-one and small groups. But as far as what you learn in the silver program, it's going to be invaluable. Okay. Well, I've volunteered TDV to help me grade reports. The nice thing about this, Jeff, you want platinum. The nice thing about this part of the curriculum is I don't have to make a thousand slides anymore per course, Jeff. This is stuff all I know in the back of my head, and we can literally, I can literally do a lecture on how to trade, PMI composite flash on the fly. So I'm very confident this is going to just flesh itself out very quickly. Not to mention the price action. I wanted to better understand the overlap between VTF and mentorship subscriptions when it comes to technical questions that fall under a similar agenda. For example, if a VTF member asks a technical question about market internals to learn more, would that typically be addressed within the guys during market hours? If you ask me a question, I'm not going to send you to Amber to buy a mentorship. Okay, that's not going to happen. During market hours, you're free to ask me any questions you want. It doesn't change anything. People who want to get to the next level and learn the skills I consider necessary to succeed in complex markets like today's and are willing to put the extra time will be in a mentorship program. If you don't want to be, that's totally fine. Okay, there's traders in here who just come in, they want to, they want some trade ideas, they want some levels, and they run with the ball, and that's great. Okay. Mickey, I would encourage you to, get a TC2000 trial while we're learning TC2000 and a trade ideas trial while we're learning trade ideas. I'm trying to work with those people to give you guys free demos while we're doing the learning. So there should be very little that you need to expend in terms of software costs. Beyond that, if you choose to run TC2000 as a scanner, you just get it. I think gold is sold out for the year, but it should be available for one more year after that. So you should sign up and you should get on the waiting list. Rafael's looking for the whole empanada. Wow, you went empanada and not taco? Rafael, what am I going to do with you, dude? So, charting wise, I use TradingView. Most of what we do in TradingView is immediately replicable in Thinkorswim, which is a free platform. So what I'm concerned about, Mickey, is concepts. For you guys to understand core concepts, I'm not obsessed about you using a platform. For the first time in my entire life, there may be promo codes, and they're not going to be Scammy Trader 69, as I often joke. I will work with T3 to get you guys a group discount on like trade ideas or whatever. I have zero financial involvement with any of that, but I suspect if we're learning trade ideas that a whole bunch of you guys may want to sign, and I'm going to work with them to at least get you guys like a 4-week trial while we're learning the platform, so you don't have to pay for it and stuff like that. Okay, I'll work with Michael and Amber to get that done. All right, guys. So this is my vision. I think those of you who want to get to the next level are gonna really get a lot out of it, and hopefully get to the next level. It's gonna be a lot of work, like no joke. There's gonna be a lot of homework. Should you replace TradeStation? That's up to you, AC. I'm never one to tell people what to do. This should be starting in January, Pablo. I believe second week of January. TradeStation I used to use for some things. In terms of hotkeys, it doesn't really do what I need it to do. But if it does what you need it to do and it works for you, then that's great. Okay? I'm going to go over my style and what I think is important. And, like for example, shaving 10 cents off the offer, you could do an Active Trader Pro. It's just going to be a lot slower. You know what I'm saying? But if the most important thing is that you guys adopt a methodology of fast execution. Okay, fast execution isn't just in your fingers. Fast execution is more mental than anything else. Okay, if you're buying the IWM like we bought today through 253.40, okay, you should immediately, your brain should be immediately computing your offsets, your targets, your stops, right? That execution should flow very smoothly. It should flow very smoothly in terms of your cognitive process. Now, you want to accelerate that even more, okay? Obviously, hotkeys are going to be faster, okay? But what I really want to teach you guys in the whole execution thing is how to execute smoothly, whether you're using a simple order box, whether you're using a ladder, or whether you're using hotkeys. Exactly. Does that make sense, guys? I don't want to see people take trades to see what happens. I want to see people take trades with a very specific idea of what that trade is supposed to do. It is impossible to have a strong psychology when you're executing trades if you don't have a plan for that trade. A lot of you guys will go along this or that thing because maybe I say, somebody asked me for a trade and I say I like it. It's great that JR likes it. What's your plan? Okay, remember back to game planning. Game planning and execution. Okay, they're overlapping circles. If you don't have a strong execution plan and smooth execution for a trade you just took, how are you supposed to remain psychologically strong throughout that trade? If you don't have conviction in what it is you're doing and how it is you're executing it, because it's very difficult to have conviction if you don't have a level in the trade where that level signifies I was wrong. Okay, if you don't have a level that signifies I was wrong, I should be out of this trade. How likely are you going to be to take the correct stop and to exit the trade? Well, not very likely. You're going to let that trade flounder like a fish out of the water until you reach max pain and it stops you out for a big loss. Okay? So all these ideas, the game planning, the execution, the money management, they're all heavily interconnected. Okay? And you need a very smooth cognitive process to enter quickly and smoothly with a full game plan for the trade that gets articulated by your orders quickly. Make sense? So it's not about hotkeying necessarily. It's about getting you to execute smoothly, quickly, and with a high degree of conviction as to what you expect that trade to do. Right? Now, I want you guys to build that finger dexterity. I do want you to use hotkeys. In my opinion, there's a better way to go. Okay? But ultimately, it's about executing professionally. Make sense? Anyways, that is all I got, guys. It is exciting. I've also, unknown to you and inadvertently to you, I've also recruited you without telling you to help me out with this freaking gargantuan project. So Uh, how about a big hand of applause, Eddie? Surprise! Anyways, yeah. Anyhow, you praying? Well, a little praying never hurts. But there should be more to it than prayer. All right, guys. I don't want to take up the rest of the afternoon and turn this into a fucking massive infomercial, but I was getting a lot of questions left and right, and I just wanted to put this in one presentation so you guys understood what the focus is going to be. All right. All right. I'm a good trader, but I'm afraid. I don't think you need to switch to any keyboard and hotkeys, Kathy. These are concepts that you can use on, if you use Thinkorswim, right? Every concept in here you can use with Thinkorswim. You don't have to change anything. But I think there may be some concepts that really help you in terms of like price pathing, using, really good price action and levels. Like you're always talking about how much you like my levels. A lot of this year is going to be going over, the Al Brooks price action method and incorporating the order flow and other technicals we use to quickly derive prices and set targets and stops. You can do that with Thinkorswim, or you can do that with hotkeys. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean DOS on TOS works. DOS on Schwab works great. I've been building up my kids' accounts with it. It's been fantastic. It's been really, really good. So you just can't trade till, I believe, till 7 o'clock on DOS with Schwab. So other than that, it's good to go. Yeah, IBKR is great. I use them a lot too for my swing trading. Okay, guys, that's it. If you have any other questions, shoot me an email and CC Amber, please. Make sure all questions Amber gets CC'd on. And anyways, that's it. That's the vision. There's still room in the silver subs, and it's going to be a very, very busy year for everyone involved. So get excited. For those of you who have joined, we're going to do a ton of work. We're going to learn a lot together. Yes, I give you. Go ahead. Send it, Rabbi. Rev it up. All right. Rabbi's like, thank you. God. If you buy the mentorship, Rabbi, you get a complimentary set of Ginzu knives. But wait, there's more. You'll probably move to the East Coast. There's no 10 membership, Joey. I'm sorry. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I have. I gotta redo my scenes here. I'll be right back.